Donald Trump received really bad information all throughout the beginning of this week when it comes to the special master. They thought that they had this amazing idea. They're gonna get Raymond Dearie in there and he's going to team up, to be a superhero team up with Judge Eileen Cannon, and all of his legal woes are gonna disappear. And that so far has not been the case. But I did remind you earlier this week that at the same time that they're proceeding with the special master, the DOJ was also appealing Judge Eileen Cannon's ruling to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And that hasn't gone well for Donald Trump either. Federal Appeals Court panel just yesterday granted the Justice Department's request to resume reviewing classified documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. They said in their ruling that Trump, quote, has not even attempted to show that he has a need to know the information contained in the classified documents, which could in theory justify why he has to have them. There is no argument to be made for why that would exist. And so I guess they're being overly generous there, but also saying that he doesn't have it. Quote, nor has he established that the current administration has waived that requirement for these documents. So that's sort of like a little bit to the side of declassification. He has not been included in any sort of need to know thing for this. They say that Trump suggests that he may have declassified the documents, but there's no record that he did, and he hasn't provided any evidence to prove that he actually did. And by the way, here is what's so great about this. They're not just sort of rebutting what Trump and his lawyers have said. They're also kind of striking out at Judge Eileen Cannon. They note that the government is, quote, substantially likely to succeed in showing that she abused her discretion in exercising jurisdiction over Trump's motion as it concerns the classified documents. And so they're sort of responding. And bear in mind, the 3 judges on this 11th Circuit Court of Appeals panel, they come from a pool of judges of which more than half were appointed by Trump. I don't know the breakdown on these 3, but we expected that he might have a really friendly reception on the 11th Circuit. They're saying what a lot of people were saying after Judge Eileen Cannon's ruling came out. This is bananas. Do you literally, like, could you Google the law? Because you seem unfamiliar with it. And so the special master is not helping out Trump. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals isn't helping out Trump. And Mondale, it's not looking great for Trump when it comes to this documents thing.
Yeah, I mean, we know for a fact at least one of these judges was appointed by Trump, right? And I think what happens is, if you want to be taken serious as a legal scholar or as a judge or as a lawyer, you're looking at this and you're saying, my hands can't be tied, or you can't muddy yourself with this. There was no legal reason for first approving a special master, and then on top of that, for issuing the stay. I think this is the best thing that could happen as it pertains to anybody that was looking for an outcome, or at least a signing of what's going to happen to Trump because of these documents, because of the sensitive nature of the documents he had at Mar-a-Lago that have since been seized. We think all of them have been seized. I think some of them may have been moved to New Jersey, but I think what we know now is the legal system is not completely destroyed in the United States as it pertains to national security and trying to fight for it. So we may have some brightness on the side of the Department of Justice as it pertains to investigating Trump for stealing documents. And we need to say he was stealing documents, because why else would you have that level of security, national security documents at your house? Where you're also, entertaining other nations that are hostile to our national security, that are constantly hacking our system, constantly worrying about if we have spies in their country. And you had this information, and I don't think Trump is reliable enough. And people keep asking, how long is this investigation going to take? I think we're not even asking questions that make me comfortable. Like, who's already seen the documents that Trump had in Mar-a-Lago? Who's he already shown them to? And I think that's a different conversation when you consider who's been to Mar-a-Lago since he left the White House.
Yeah.